Hi everyone and welcome to another 20-something podcast episode. I am your co-host Naomi.
And I'm Ogaga.
So remember to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Remember to subscribe to our mailing list. The link will be in the description box of this podcast. I'll also put it on SoundCloud. Also, remember to use the hashtag 20somethingpod on Twitter to get involved in the conversation.
Lovely.
I tried to do the sexy voice there.
Okay.
Did it work?
You know what? I'm almost a married man, so I can't really comment.
Good point.
Our guest, Seun, can you comment? Did that do anything for you?
No, I've got nothing to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you guys are rude. So anyway, joining us today is Seun. Seun is from Agape Brothers. Hello.
Hello.
Was that your sexy voice?
Nah.
Okay.
Banter.
Anyway, please, Seun, I think we need to, because your organization is so new, but it's such a great organization. You've already done events. It takes people years to do events. We still haven't done an event. But anyway, you're already doing events. You're already doing good things. So please tell us a bit about Agape Brothers.
Yeah, so Agape Brothers is just, thank you, Naomi. Agape Brothers is just something really small and kind of personal. And essentially what it is about is agape, which is unconditional love, right? Agape love. So the whole point is that I just looked and I saw that it seems today you seldom find situations whereby teachers and other figures in public life are able to have the kind of inspirational influence that people talked about being so critical to them, increasing their aspirations in the past. So what we do is we literally take our brothers, our cousins, and we spend time with them. We're young professional black men in the city, and we understand some of the things that these boys are going through. And obviously there's a lot of talk about absent fathers, in the black community. So it's just a way of stepping in and being that extra role model that can provide advice and also show love.
Is it biological brothers and cousins, or is it open to any young black male?
It's open to anyone, any young black male. But essentially, I sat down one day and I said, you know what, I want to change the world in this way, yeah, and that's a big thing to try and do. So start with home, start with my brothers, start with a lot of the people that are there. Some of them I don't know. So some of them are family or family friends of some of my other friends. So most of us are not related. But I just thought, let's start with those that we can capture, like their parents are buy into it. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no, at this point in time, obviously at one point in time when this whole thing does become a lot more official, it will be a CRB check thing and it will be like more rigorous in terms of the way we approach it. But for now, it's just family hanging out with family, but trying to have a positive impact on those people. And hopefully that has a knock-on effect on other people as well.
So for people that want to become mentors, is that something you're open to?
100%. Like I say, at the moment, it's just a small thing, but anybody that feels like there's anything positive that they could potentially contribute, I mean, all for it, 100% for it. It's bigger than us, right? It's about kind of trying to catch our boys so that, and a big part of it was, looking at like the whole Black Lives Matter movement. I know we probably don't want to go there, but just looking at that and seeing how like a lot of young black men have been disenfranchised, and it's important that we catch them before that happens so that hopefully, even though there are all these kind of challenges along the way, if they're better equipped to deal with those challenges, they can hopefully be more likely to overcome them.
Wonderful. So Seun is a trainee lawyer at a Magic Circle firm, so one of the best firms in the world. And so what we'll be talking about in the chaser topic is how he went from being in trouble with the law to practicing the law. So I'm excited to discuss that. And anyone who's wanting to be a lawyer or a barrister, this is an episode for you. And also just an episode for anyone who knows somebody, has a younger cousin, brother, whatever, who maybe not going down the path that you would want, and how we're going to learn from Seun how he changed his direction in life. So we're going to go there. But before that, we still got 2 shots.
That's right. And thank you for leading us very well into 2 shots.
By the way, you know we call it 2 shots, but normally there's 3 of us on a podcast, or even 4 of us, and it was called 2 shots because there's 2 of us, but maybe we should call it 3 to 4 shots.
Maybe you should call it Seun shots. I mean, that could be an option as well.
I think we're beating a dead horse. I think 2 shots is fine.
Okay.
3 or 4 shots, it just sounds like a bit of a bender.
Wow, I was dismissed.
So
Shots fired.
Yeah.
No, I just think, let's be sensible, drink aware. 2 shots is enough.
We're not alcoholics.
Exactly. Promote responsible behavior. So moving on into our very responsible 2 shots.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss names and the pronunciation of names, especially African names in, Western society. We right now are in the UK. My name's Ogaga, which, as simple as it is, it's 2 syllables.
It's 3 syllables, but 2
Ogaga.
of them are the same.
3 syllables and 2 of them are the same, yeah. It's a very simple name, but the amount of times people give up and want to nickname me is amazing. It's like, can I call you this instead?
Ogs, mate. Ogs.
Yeah, Ogs. Yeah,
You'll be Ogs from
Have you
now.
got that? Ogs? Have you got that?
I've had people try
Oggy.
that before. Oggy.
Good
yeah.
old Ogie.
Wow.
And I've also had a go-go, and it's like that's not what it is.
Your resilience to not beating people around the head is probably really high.
Do you know what? It gets less by the day. Like it really does. So now we've got Seun here. Like, what remixes have you got for your name?
To be honest, there's not many variations. I think I mainly, when I'm talking to people who I get a feeling like it's really awkward when I come into a room, and no offense to any of the white listeners, but when they're there, I'm like, if it's a black person, I'm like, they're probably more likely to know how to pronounce this. So I'll be like Seun, but everyone else just gets the straight Sean. So people either call me Sean or Seun. Those are probably the only 2 variations I get.
Don't you feel like it's an insult that they're not trying harder to pronounce your name?
But the thing is, I think I'm caught in 2 minds. One of them is that, let's just work with what is practical. Ultimately, people need to get me to respond because they need me for whatever reason. So in that respect, I'd just rather be called Sean, than people mistakenly mispronounce my name, and on the other hand, I say no, actually, if it's Raul or it's Pablo or something, those names are not inherently English or names that people are exposed to every day, but they still know how to pronounce them. And I think part of the whole name pronunciation situation kind of goes back to the economic status, or just the general representation of black people, black culture, African people within mainstream media. People have not had to become accustomed to how to pronounce those names. There's one where I was just like, I was watching Euro 2008, and Terry Venables was it was the Spanish squad, and Terry Venables goes, oh yeah, so the guy's name is spelled Guiza, but like the Z in like Spanish is usually like a TH, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, oh yeah, that Danny Guiza looks a good player, and I'm just like, what would make you think that his name is Guiza being in Spain? It's just that it's that that arrogance of not feeling like you need to be respectful.
Or even find out or ask, especially if you're a commentator. Like, before we start podcasts, we ask people, how do you pronounce names?
Yeah, and I think a lot of footballers have been asked this, and they've already given pronunciations of their names many times.
Oh, really?
Speaking of football, I always notice in the World Cup, it's always like Luis Garcia. They get it. They do get it. And they
Luis love
Garcia, Zabi Alonso.
Yeah.
Like, they go all the way there for certain players. Like the new kid at Manchester City's Gabi Jesus it's spelled Jesus.
Yeah.
You know.
But they know.
But no, it's not even Jesus. They pronounce it the Brazilian way, which is Jesus.
Jesus, yeah.
And it's like, this is amazing. Well done.
Can I say they tried for South African World Cup, yeah? I just remember one guy, South African player's name rings off
Can
my
I
mind.
guess the name? I knew it.
Shabalala.
That was my favorite name for like years.
They get props for that one. Shabalala.
That name was amazing. Like, but with football commentary, I think it's something that's making me less and less like football, especially with how they talk about black players.
They're strong, powerful.
Oh my God.
The athleticism.
I think I watched...
No technique, just athleticism.
Like, this guy didn't practice how many years to get to this stage in his life. Like someone like Yaya Toure, who you'd see
He pinged the ball 60 yards onto a sixpence, and you're like, oh, but look at those thighs.
I have no idea
how
what
did that
you're
become
talking about
relevant?
right now.
Yeah, so I don't even...
Skirt.
It's the way people just kind of disregard pronunciations of names and just go, oh, okay, no, forget it.
And I'm not judging because obviously I have quite a European name. A lot of Nigerians I find have an English name and a Nigerian name. So depending on who they are introducing themselves to, they'll switch between their English and Nigerian name.
I got a mentee.
Dude, what's your English name?
Well, you don't know it?
No.
Really?
Is it Bobby?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the French for vavavoom?
Matting, I've never heard that before.
What's that?
Matting.
Banter.
First time.
What's that gonna say?
But I have a Nigerian name, but because it's my second name, no one's ever...
And what's that?
I might have to edit that bit out the podcast because that's government name.
Hey, man.
Your last name's already on there.
We gonna know your taxes. We gonna know what you've been filing. Nah, I'm playing. But it's really weird, like you say, when you have like family or friends that like have different names.
Yeah.
Because one of my mentees, she's a family friend, and I was helping her to get some work experience. And I'm gonna bait her up right now. But her name to us is Mo, yeah? Her government name is Shirley. I got a gun feel. I'm like, nah, I can't roll with this. I can't roll with this name.
I know how you feel.
I'm not gonna. You know, like you can play along with it. With some of your friends, you're willing to. If there's not too much difference, you'll go for a David and you'll be like, fine, I'll call him David in public. But Shirley, I'm not buying into that.
Do you know what I've noticed that people with afrocentric names do? So if your name's like Tommy Lawo, all of a sudden your name's Tom, just Tom.
Tommy.
Tom.
Hey, mate.
Tommy.
But you got to respect our struggle, though.
No.
I can imagine like how rough it is.
Let me give you the Oluwaseun no pay me or Lakunle Benga David or no son.
That sounds royal though.
Yeah.
But that sounds like royalty.
It's not easy.
that sounds like you just reeled off like a full accomplished dude.
And my granddad calls me Shola, so we can go there. You know, there's names out here. Like it's tough. I know. But they're beautiful names and they mean like very powerful things.
Exactly.
So it'd be great if some of y'all learn how to pronounce them.
I know. And I was working in this office, and this guy, everyone's calling Billy. I was like, oh, Billy. He's Asian. I was like, oh, Billy. I was like, Billy. I remember one day I was all over at him. You know when you press your computer and you've got your name on the thing, and I've seen his name on his computer and it's Bilal.
Oh man.
And I'm like, oh, Bilal, your name's Bilal.
Wow.
I was like, so from then on, I didn't call him Billy because it wasn't.
Can I give you the flip side? Yeah, because it may work. It may work both ways. It's a guy. There's a few guys. There's like a running joke on Friday. I'm calling one dude. I've been calling him Neil. Like for 4 months, I swear that. I've been calling this guy Neil, and he's just like, oh yeah, Muhammad. I'm like, no, his name's definitely Neil, yeah. and then we speak to him, and number one, his name is not Neil, yeah, it's Adil, yeah. And then there's also
wait, so his name's Adil.
Adil, I've been calling him Neil, but she was calling him Muhammad, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then it gets worse because then there's a guy, I'm still not 100% what his name is. So we have some guys who do some storage, and I've been calling him Paul for 4 months straight, yeah. The dude's name is not Paul. It is not Paul. And they've been having a laugh between themselves, like, oh yeah, we'll see how long he'll keep calling me Paul. Don't worry about it. I'm not actually sure what his name is till today. I think it's Mark, yeah, but There may be some reverse bias / ignorance going on here on my part. To be honest with you.
just call him any old white person.
like, hey, Paul.
Oliver, you're right, Oliver.
I did that in football
the best
once
bet is
as
to
well.
go with Tom.
I was like, Harry, pass me the ball. It's like, my name's Owen. What are you talking about?
Like, how am I supposed to know these foreign names?
I was like, no wonder why he's so stingy on the ball.
I'll never forget when Ogaga said on a podcast, facility, when the name was Felicity.
Mad.
And he said it so confidently, yeah.
Facility.
He was like, wait, when I said, do you mean Felicity? He was like, wait, facility isn't the name.
Mad.
Facility.
Sometimes you just got to come at it strong and just make,
just
I'm
own
making
it.
that your name.
Just
I'm
own-
making
just
you a
own
Danny
it.
Geezer. Like, it's fine.
It's right. That's what it is.
Standard.
Yeah, so names are interesting. Names are, the things that really define you, to be honest.
I mean, if it was me, as you said this on a different podcast, but if it was me and people were struggling to pronounce my name, say his name, that person's name was Daniel. Me, I'll be like, da. I would really be pretending to struggle.
But the world just be eating away at you sometimes, and after a bit you just concede and you just take the L. Like you when the person's not receiving the point you're trying to make, you probably just give up and be like, okay, I am nay or whatever it is they decide to call you.
No, but yeah, I get. No one's ever had issues. Naomi Campbell made my name very, very famous.
Jeez.
So no one's had issues pronouncing my name. But I would be so frustrated if I had to correct somebody every time.
Maybe they would have had an issue pronouncing it if it was Iman, like it was supposed to be.
Like it was supposed to be. I was supposed to be.
blow
That's
up.
a story for another day. But yeah, I was supposed to be called Iman.
I actually do take the piss with my name as well, yeah.
Do you get emails and then someone just spelled it like mad and you're just like, rah, how did you even
it's
get
less easy. People do put Sean, they'll put Sean, yeah. Whereas my name is Seun. That's the worst they can get. I mean, it's 4 letters. If they would have to be super creative to really mess it up and go for something else. But so there's another. I'm blowing up spots right now. I hate people mispronouncing my name. So I'll tell people my name is Sean, knowing it's Sean, right? Because people will give it. I didn't actually tell you. So people will they'll be like Sean, like they'll pronounce it like a car going past really fast outside. And everyone
English people do that.
Yeah, just generally anyone who just doesn't know how to pronounce it, they were like Seun. But I mean, I don't think they're taking a piss, but obviously there's nuance in my name, and it's a different alphabet. The Yoruba alphabet is a different alphabet. So proper.
But don't you think
they
that's a
milk it.
microaggression, or is that just me?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, I think they don't mean any ill by it, so I'm not offended. Yeah, and when you but obviously I'll just be. I don't know. I would say yeah. It is. It's kind of like actually, mate. Ha. Just pronounce my name properly. Yeah. But given that I know the individuals behind it and I know that they don't mean any ill by it, I just take it as bants.
Okay.
For the love of bants, mate. Maybe right now I'm selling out. I don't know. Some of your podcast listeners should get at me.
I think that would be interesting. I think it's also a thing of it's more being resigned to knowing, this is what you like. As in, this is what people are like. This is how people view things. And you go, okay. So it's easy to kind of brush off because you're used to having people mispronounce your name. Yeah. Or like me growing up with the name Ogaga, like every day when we had like a supply teacher, all the kids literally were waiting to see how is this supply teacher going to pronounce the name, because it was going to be wrong and the class was going to laugh. Like no matter what, there was not one teacher that got it right first time. It was always going to be wrong.
For you as a child?
It was just really annoying.
Okay.
Because I knew it was going to happen. Like when I walk in and I see it's not our usual teacher, it's like, here we go. It's going to happen today. And you sit down and they'd be going down the list and everyone's just looking at each other like, it's coming. And the teacher would just say something like, because my name's not just Ogaga, it's Ogaga Ogene. So that's the long version. So, and on the register, it's the long version. It's not just the short version of Ogaga. So they go, Ogagin? And it's like, rah, there's bare letters there, Like, they're just giving me silent letters, like, oh.
So you just reminded me of, like, at school, I had an Australian teacher. He was this pretty annoying, rude guy. that we tried to irritate as well. So it probably wasn't all his fault.
I'm not going to make any sweeping judgments about Australian people, but carry on.
Tension. But what was I going to say? So he used to take the piss out of my name as well. He'd be like, Sean Okanui. My surname's on a Sonia. He'd be like, Sean Okanui. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and he's like, do you know what Okanuis are? Okanuis are like those trousers that you wear. They're like when you go surfing, like they're those trousers, like Sean Okanui. But don't worry, guys. I gave him his own. Don't worry about him. He did not like that job after he taught our class. So if that's the bants he got away with, it was not a good trade-off on his behalf.
I love a good teachers having a hard time story.
Hey.
Sometimes they deserve it. Sometimes.
Yeah, I wish I was nicer to teachers. I wish I was nicer to teachers at school. I had some I loved. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's enough. 2 shots.
Yeah.
I think we're drunk on that now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're drunk, yeah.
Jet ski way.
I think the moral of the story is ask someone how to pronounce their name and
Yeah.
then remember how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Like,
No, it's not.
because my friend's gonna be officiating my wedding, and so she's got a recording of how to pronounce my full name, and she was like, "Oh, I just really want to make sure I don't pronounce it wrong." I'm like, "You've got the recording, like it's fine. You, like how I say it on that recording is how it is. That's like you just need to hear it. That's it. That's the name.
She's going to get it wrong.
You know what?
Because she's going to practice
It's
too
all
hard.
right, it's
She's going
all
to be there like
right,
with
it's all
her
right.
little dictaphone.
It's all right.
In front of the mirror.
We can fight in front of everybody. We can fight in front of everyone. It's fine. It's fine.
People
I roll up
groom? We had the wrong wedding.
I roll up my sleeves. Today is a deadly day.
Never aspired it.
But yeah, so it's interesting. But again, just learn how people want their name pronounced, and just try. You know, go out of your head a little bit and just go, maybe the thing he said, I should just repeat that.
Exactly.
Simple.
Agreed.
Wonderful.
Okay, so on to the chaser. This is becoming my favourite part of the podcast now.
Okay.
Matter of
I
fact.
like it all.
My favourite too.
We'll take that. We'll take that.
Can you stop doing that?
Yeah, I'll stop.
I'm gonna get the meme and put it as the artwork for this podcast. So anyway, Seun, you are a trainee lawyer at a Magic Circle firm.
Yes, I am.
Which means you're at one of the best firms in the world.
Gas me in.
Hasn't always been that way.
No, it hasn't.
I knew you as a youth
A yacht.
when you were wearing quarter-length trousers.
Mad. It's all
Trying to do your GCSEs.
mad. It's all controversial. Mad.
It's not controversial.
Mad,
It was
mad.
what happened. It's facts.
All right, can I step in now? Can I step in? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I've been taking an L for these quarter lengths that I used to wear. Naomi saw me back in the day wearing them. You know, I mean, I'm gonna own it now. I've decided. I'm just gonna
At
own
least
it.
it wasn't boot cuts.
It was boot cuts, yeah. I'm gonna own it. All I'm gonna say is, can we put some context to this, because you've got to be looking real cray out here, yeah. I was not walking down friggin' I don't know Lewisham High Street in the winter.
Okay,
It's
but I just
they-
want to say...
if you were about, you knew that them Nike quarter lengths, they were the ting. They were the ting back in the day. You understand?
I
Allegedly.
mean, exactly. I beg to differ.
Rumour
because
has it,
I
rumour has
remember
it.
always staring and thinking, why is Seun always
What are
wearing
those?
quarter length trousers? And even I told my dad today that Seun was coming over, he said, "Oh, the one with the shorts."
Mad.
So you're known for these trousers. I want you to embrace it. Okay.
I'm owning it. I'm owning
It's
it.
part
And
of your
always
story.
socks and sliders. Today, did you not come to my house in socks and sliders?
It's all mad. You know, I don't know what's so controversial, because for me, I'm on this comfort over fashion thing. You know, right there. Like, that's all I'm on still.
I wish I could relate.
That's all I'm on still.
I wish I could relate. I wish I could.
Mad, mad haters out here. Mad haters. Mad
Anyway.
haters.
To get to my point.
Yeah.
Tell us, when you mean you were in trouble with the police younger, as a youth, what do you mean? What kind of trouble were you in?
So, firstly, just for the preservation of my current employment, I've never had any lasting charges on my record, yada, 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 yeah. But no, when I was young, I mean, I was really trying to find a way to channel my aggression, my passion, and, just like kind of trying to find my own lane. And I was rebellious. I lacked discipline, and that's not a good formula for the classroom. And matching, all of those previously described attributes to the fact that, I was also, I'm not saying I was super intelligent or anything, but I was okay. I was okay academically, yeah. So, it's nothing more annoying than the kid in the class that, it talks back and stuff, but then actually puts in a good essay. So I found myself like pretty much annoying all of my teachers and quite quickly becoming disliked by quite a few of them. But I don't know if you want me to talk more about my story and how I perceive like kind of that like tying into, the whole Agape Brothers, not necessarily pitching the Agape Brothers thing, but kind of the progression of a black boy into manhood.
Yeah, so I really want to know. So a lot of people go through what you're going through, right? What you went through. And I want to know the reason. I want to get to the core reason why you felt like you were going down the wrong path.
Yeah. I think, there are multiple reasons, and the reasons will be different for many different people. But when it comes to, I've looked at, my younger brother, and I've realized like they got to a certain age whereby he couldn't stop hugging his phone. Like his phone was everything to him. And then it dawned on me, that, I had a very similar thing. I had a massive fallout on one occasion with my mum over a phone, yeah. T610, shout out to Sony Ericsson. You know what it is. If you know, you know.
Throwback.
But the point is that, what dawned on me was that as a young kid, you have no possessions, you have no means of getting anything for yourself, yeah. And that means you start valuing intangible things like such as respect and how you're perceived by your peers way more than you should do. And that means you act in certain ways to preserve that value that you realize when you get older, this is not worth anything to me. When you can start stunting on brothers in your new Evoque, yeah, you don't really like that. That does all of the change in the perception you need it to do. You don't need to go and show I'm the hardest you out here, and then everyone goes, no, yeah, Seun's the guy. Like,
so for you, it was materialism. It was your access to things that led you to want to act certain ways.
No. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the whole point is that. Lack of it's status, right? I feel like in society, a lot of people want, whether we openly admit it or we don't, we want to be perceived in a good light by people around us, and we want to feel like we're being successful, and we want to feel like we're kind of somewhere towards the top of the totem pole in this thing we call life. Yeah.
So do you feel like you had a black male role model that you could look up, like your dad and uncle?
I did. My dad wasn't at home. Like, my mum has raised me single-handedly, and I think, obviously I don't want to go, I think this would be boring to talk about, but it's well documented, the whole, absent fathers and stuff. Like, I've never lived with my dad, and, that is a big thing. At home, men and women interact with children differently, and especially boys, men and boys. Like, if I'm to have a boy, it's like, it's weird because this is a generalization, but to me, it's what I've seen a lot of the time. And it's that with women, like, the love comes in a beautiful way, but in a different way. With men, the love comes with consistency. And boys need that consistency. Boys need to know, like, boys would, like, I look at home and I see my mum and my brother, and it's like, she's hot and cold with him. I swear to you, every single morning it's like, if you don't come out of the bathroom in 5 minutes, I'm leaving. Yeah. Then it's like, when are you coming out of the bathroom? 10 minutes later. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with me, it's going to be mate, come out of the bathroom. If you don't come out of the bathroom, I'm dipping and I'm gone. And that's an important message that boys and people need to learn in life, that there's consequences to your action. It doesn't mean I don't love you, but it means that you do something, this is what's going to happen. And that's the consistency that, I think I was lacking, not that my mum did. Shouts to Marjorie. She did a phenomenal job, but there's something you can't get from a woman that you can get from a man if he is being a man and he is being a proper father. But yeah.
So do you feel like not having a father figure around had a lasting impact on your relationships with the world, the way you navigate the world, relationships with women, relationships with just anybody, friendships?
I think I would definitely say yes. Inevitably, like my whole setup at home, as all of our setups at home, has to have influenced the individual that we've become today. I had, strong role models. My cousins, dad, my uncle, like he is a father figure to me and was a strong father figure to me. But at the same time, yes, like for me, I have that thing. I don't know whether I remember, I'm going to sound hella spoiled on this, but I remember I wanted some Pradas. My big cousin had Pradas. I wanted some Pradas. So I made this strong pitch to my mum, like, hey, yo, need this Prada. It's like, what? If you got Nigerian parents at home and you hear Pradas at 13, you know how that conversation's going down, yeah? I don't need to speak any more on that, yeah? But gradually, I did a paperboy around for 2 weeks, and I was like, nah, 7 a.m. some holidays, long thing. But I got £60 for that. I put that towards the end. I wasn't an investment banker then, but I was talking about credit derivatives and swaps and all of this and how we could do kind of monthly payments and all of this jazz. And I got my way, If there was a dad at home, that conversation probably would have been like, get out of here, leave me and my wife to peace. Do you know what I mean? It would never, and those things, like I said, the same thing I see with my brother, and it's not a criticism, but it's like children. I've heard school teachers say it, like those children that know how to play, that know that there are parameters and are comfortable within those parameters, find life much easier than those that don't have boundaries, but then suddenly find boundaries in a classroom. And in the world, so answering your question, in the world we live in, there are boundaries. You obey the law, you don't obey the law. You conduct yourself in a certain way, and you're part of society. You don't, and then you're kind of ostracized, yeah. And so, for survival and progression, there are boundaries and parameters that we all need to kind of be aware of, and respecting those boundaries and those parameters and knowing how to navigate those come as a parallel to probably your upbringing as a child, I would say. So I've learned and I'm learning, but yeah, probably.
So what impact did that have in your earlier years of education?
My earlier years of education, I was always getting into trouble, and for me, I look at it like this. I look at it as kind of I saw a kind of clear sequence of events for me as a black boy in school, especially going to a predominantly white school or being taught by predominantly white teachers. And it's no racism involved in that, but this is just how I saw it, right? So initially you kind of get this, everyone, oh, you're the black kid, you're going to be cool, you're going to like hip hop, yeah? And then, it's that whole issue of identity, and as with all other teenagers and stuff, and young kids, you're still finding your identity. So when we're creatures of habit, we look around ourselves to determine how we will interact with the world ourselves. So that then progressed onto actually maybe I am the cool kid. Yeah, I was not cool. I was not inherently cool, but I assumed that mantle, I should say. And then you do the cool thing, and then you become the disruptive one, and then after you're the disruptive one, you're then the one that is, kind of preventing everyone else from getting an education, and somebody that needs to be isolated from everybody else to ensure that the greater good go on to get those great academics that they're going to go on and get. So I think that's a big part of what I want Agape Brothers to be about as well. Bro, my young brother, don't play yourself. Be you, be who you are, and don't let the world dictate to you that you need to be this way or you need to be that way.
I can relate to what you're saying on that kind of on that behalf, because I think obviously at some point I grew up, and in my teenage years it was something that I've always found that I always found kind of difficult, like learning how to be yourself and who to be yourself. And I wasn't the cool kid. I wasn't like the oh my God, nobody go near that guy. He's, you know, he's got cooties or whatever the term is. But I was just like this guy that was in the middle, but I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be so cool. And I wanted to, you know, have status and respect, but I wasn't a bad man, and I couldn't do bad man things because for some reason I had one of the biggest consciences in the world. Like I couldn't, doing one little thing that was bad, I felt like crap.
You're Nigerian though, right? So that just means you knew you were going to get beats at home.
Exactly. So my conscience was hardcore. So
You're saying conscience, but we know what that really means is repercussions.
yes. My scope for repercussions was so big. I just knew, nah, this ain't worth it.
When you ain't got the heart for the beats, just don't do the crime.
Exactly. If I haven't got the heart for beats, how can I have heart for roadman activities? If I can't even face my mum, no. I'm not getting into gang fights.
Trust me.
So yeah, that was my main thing. So it was all, how do you find yourself? How do you become you? So for years, I was kind of just trying to be, you know, this cool guy that everyone liked, and I didn't, you know, and I dress how everyone dresses, you act how everyone acts, you go to the places everyone's going to, you listen to the music everyone's listening to. Yeah. So that's why now I find I'm more of a contrarian on many things, because it's more like now it's taking my stance of I actually don't like Tupac's music.
I 100% feel like that was a crazy comment, by the way. Disclaimers all around. But generally, like I 100% see what you're saying in terms of, you know, taking that contrary stance. Sometimes not even necessarily because you believe it, but sometimes you need to kind of step away from what everyone else is doing to find out what you as an individual are doing and saying inside. Exactly. When you're not following the herd mentality.
Yeah, so to finding like what kind of motivates me and who I am and the things I place value in, I felt that created me a more grounded and better person. And now it was something I've been able to build up to, where now I feel completely, I'm 27 now, I'm completely, I would say I'm completely comfortable with who I am as a person. I know my limitations in this world. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. And I'm fine kind of straddling that line in between the two for most of the time. So getting to that point is very hard for most people. And at the age is of like 13 to 16, maybe 17, 18, it's incredibly hard with so much pressure and just everything going on around you. You've got this pressure of school, but you've also got this pressure of social life. Girls.
And it sounds silly and juvenile now, but back in the day, like, you needed to feel like girls were checking for you, and you needed to feel like things were going to happen for you.
Girls weren't checking for me.
You ain't alone.
They weren't checking for me at all. So I've got my little brother now, and he's 13, and we have these talks, and we have like these grand talks about everything, and I really appreciate that he listens. Yeah. But we talk about like everything, and I all the time what I try and do is I try to help him understand his masculinity, and what that is for him, because there's masculinity that is the prescribed. Yes. That you do this, you do that, you do this, it makes you a man. Yes. And I'm like, you need to understand what this is for you. Yes. And how it works for you, because you can't live up to anyone else's standards,
expectations,
but yours. And I think that's always something that people find hard. And when all the pressure of life, of trying to hit these different catchments and these different targets, to prove that you are someone,
I'm grown,
you're gonna fall short.
I think there's definitely a perception that society has of what a black man should be, and there's always this pressure from that a black man has of how do they live up to that expectation. It's almost like having a rope around your neck. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I think it's like a catch-22. On the one hand, and this is the whole playing yourself thing. I mean, I don't want it to sound like paranoia, but on the one hand, it's like black men are the alpha male. I mean, when they do these like surveys and stuff, they say, I know that's controversial, but they say black men are supposedly the most handsome or desirable or whatever, yeah? But then on the other hand, it's like there's a whole load of other things you need to do in life to survive, apart from being strong, having a six-pack, being 6'2", and being good-looking. There's a whole lot more you need in life. So, I mean, it's like, one, you've given us a narrative that is not cool anyway, but then it's an incomplete narrative anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so going back, I want to go back to more of the male role models that you had. How do you think that your relationship with your uncle and your cousins defined you and your path in life?
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say where I think it really all turned for me, and it's maybe like a really dark thing to say, but I feel like it deserves to be said. Yeah. So I was in like year 11, and it was November. It was November 2005, I think, end of November, and one of my friends, like from our local area, basically, I don't know if you guys heard about it if you're from Lewisham or whatever, but he got stabbed outside of a police station, yeah, and he died. And I mean, after that, like, I just came to school and I couldn't stop crying like the whole day. I mean, he was not my best friend or anywhere near my best friend, but just someone I knew from the area. So then, like, you know, I think looking back, I don't think at the time I was like, oh, this happened, now I'm gonna be serious in life, yeah. But on some level, it woke something up inside of me. And then, you know, may I forgive thanks to the Almighty, you understand? Like, I know a lot of people may not necessarily believe in what I believe in or whatever, but for me, God has definitely was instrumental in me finding my route in life. But then talking about the role models, role models are key because, you know, in this whole narrative, that's the key of role models, is that, okay, this is the danger is, and that's what makes absent fathers, and geez, I'm going back to this, but it makes it so much more, have so much more impact, because you have this narrative in the media, but you have nothing to dispel it at home. So you're taking a narrative from somebody who doesn't know you, does not necessarily have a vested interest in your success, yeah, and then you don't have anything at home that tells you anything different. So when I saw my uncle, and my uncle would hold down the thing, like, I had everything. I'm blaming my older cousin for all of the mishaps and all of the, you know, tomfoolery I got involved in, because he was probably definitely more about it than I was, yeah, and copying him and whatever, we'd end up in random places at 3 a.m. in the morning. But sure enough, we caught Uncle come and pick us up, no matter where it was. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he held his family down, and he was always there. He was always someone to be relied on. And, you know, so and that's the whole point of Agape Brothers as well. It's like the whole thing is social interaction. Like, of course, I want to be counsel to you, and I want to tell you, do this, don't do that, go to school. But at the same time, I hope that by seeing us and seeing that we're like you, and, you know, we might listen to gigs or we may listen to whoever, but we're still responsible dudes as well. I feel like that subconsciously speaks volumes over me telling you, do this or do that. And that was what I saw in my uncle. I saw my uncle as a dude who was a serious guy. Like, you couldn't chief him, but he was loving, he was kind, and he would bend over backwards for his family. And then the other person as well was, you know, I had a cousin named Dapper. Shouts to Dapper. And he's very soft-spoken, you know. And when he came back from uni, that was like when the financial crisis was popping off. So we found it hard to get a job initially, yeah. So him and I ended up spending a lot of time together over the summer holidays before I started A-levels, and yeah, he just got back from uni. So, you know, he conducted himself in a way that was like, oh, I can be G, but I don't need to be doing the most, like, because I'm a very loud person, and I can be a very loud person, and, you know, yeah, it was just like, and I don't think there's anything, you know, everyone just has to do them, and I've accepted that's my lot. Like, my decibels of my voice are always going to be on 3,000, but he showed me, like, there's a manner in which you can conduct yourself. Sometimes you can tone it down, like, look at the circumstances in which it is appropriate to act in that way, and just navigate the world, basically.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so you turn around, you turn a corner, you do your GCSEs.
Jeez.
Get good results.
Lack off. Told Miss McDermott. Miss McDermott tried to tell my mum, nah,
Was she a French teacher?
Nah, history thing still.
My Miss McDermott was
Them
a
boy
French
pagan, I can't stand them. I can't trust you if you Miss McDermott. But what was I gonna say? So she tried to give me.
Nice.
She told me, oh, I'm afraid that she might not even pass. It's mad tangents, but then I was like, and she was like, oh yeah, he's talking too much in class. So I just did the complete opposite. Went to the back every lesson, used to sleep, in the middle of class. Not proud of it, but hey, it wasn't aggressive in that way, was it? It wasn't. I wasn't talkative when I was sleeping, was I? But then I got my GCSEs, got an A in history, standard, and then friggin', she's like, oh yeah, I think philosophy might be a really good route for you to go down. And by that point, man had found Jesus in it, yeah? So I was just like, looking at her in the face like, cool, safe. Give me that certificate right now and let me get up out of here. So yeah. Tangent, sorry.
No, that's a really common story though.
Yeah,
the teacher's like, I don't think that they're likely to pass. So maybe they should do the foundation paper. Maybe not the higher paper.
You can't do that to Nigerians, man.
Never.
We're built for this thing.
Never.
When I heard no pass, I say, you don't know what it means not to pass in my house. You're speaking from a place of lack of knowledge.
So you do your GCSEs, you go on to do your A-levels, you get wonderful A-levels.
Yeah.
We go to university. We went to the same university, by the way.
Yeah. Cheers.
You go to university.
What was that, Naomi?
I don't know. And to be honest,
Every week I have to ask her something she's doing.
Do you know what? We know that I'm Anik, and listeners know by now that I'm Anik, so I'm not going to apologise anymore.
Own it.
I'm going to own it.
Okay.
3/4 length time, you know.
We will have our pass.
Hey.
You what do you study at university?
I studied economics.
Okay. So
I want to say that it wasn't all an easy path, by the way, but yeah. Go on anyway.
No, go on, tell us some of the tribulations.
Yeah, so the realness is that it was just like the whole point, up until this point, it's just been failure, to be honest. Like, and you know, failure is not failure, they say, right, unless you kind of don't learn from it. So basically, I did my A-levels initially, and first year of my A-levels, I got ACCD, and I wanted to go to like a Russell Group uni to study law. I was daydreaming, like, because I did the full circle from being really unproductive or destructive in my passion. I then fueled all of that into, okay, if I'm going to do this, man, I got to do it hard. Yeah, what's the best unis to go to and all of this. So I'm getting all these prospectuses through to my cousin's house and had all these dreams of going to these good unis to study law. And then I got my A-levels and I realized, hey, with an L on that and, you know, how competitive law is, things ain't looking good for this route right now. So I then decided I was just going to do something else. And at that time, it was, you know, you kind of get misinformed. I don't know how you guys feel, but you get misinformed with like this whole personal statement, oh, like it has to be one of your A-levels that you've done, otherwise it doesn't look logical and all of this. So I just chose another A-level, and the other A-level I didn't want to do politics, so I did psychology. I put psychology down as my preference, and then I wanted to go to Southampton, and I just went there and I was like, this is a place where I can calm down, you know, next to the bish. And, you know, I was just going to become a new reformed individual. And then, unfortunately, I was 11 months off going to Southampton to study psychology. But my mum had been asking me all year, like, why do you want to go to Southampton? Why do you want to study psychology? And I was like, not now. Like, it's exam season. Like, don't try and derail what we've got going on here. But it's a valid question, and a question I had to answer when I didn't get the A-levels I wanted to get. And then I decided to study something more versatile and something that would make me employable whilst I was still figuring out what it was I wanted to do for a vocation long term. So did that, and then basically did economics at our uni. And you know, yeah, it was a lot of failure, but I just so I think that's one of the positives in a very weird way that's come out of, you know, kind of, I don't know, not having boundaries at home. In a way, I wouldn't say I didn't have boundaries. Oh, there were boundaries, yeah. But I just mean like kind of that tenacity got me places at home. Like I could grind my mum down for those Pradas, yeah. And I took that same approach to, oh, you're telling me thank you for your application, but we reject to inform you on this occasion, ... yeah. Like I never took that as a no. Do you understand what I'm saying? I took that as a, you know, the thing that used to keep me going was like, all no's become irrelevant once you get one yes. So that's basically what it was. So it's not been smooth, and I've not taken the seamless route from academia to a career.
I think that's important though, because a lot of people who want to go into law think you have to get all A's at A level, otherwise it's a wrap. But so you got into university with ACC?
No. So I did. That was my A2s, my ASs, and then I ended up getting 3 Bs at A2, and then they remarked on their papers. I got ABB.
I was wondering how you got into uni with ACC, but okay, it makes sense now.
Jeez, you're really putting me under the spotlight.
Not much. I was not even how you got into this uni. I was wondering how you got into uni.
I meant this uni.
All of you, that listening to this podcast, come at Naomi for this. If you didn't get ACC, just come at her and be like, nah, fam, but you're not smarter than me, fam. Mad. We do apologize. I'm playing.
Do you know what's funny?
What?
I don't remember what I got for my A levels.
Mad. You know what? Look, can I say something though? When people say they don't remember what they got, I don't trust you.
I really don't remember.
That is repression. Yeah, you are repressing those memories because listen, you don't want to know what you got for your A levels.
That might be true.
But we move on. Screw.
That might be true. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mad.
That might be true.
I told you, shots fired. 4 shots. Shell shot.
So moving on.
Yeah. Before I get myself beaten up.
So
Never.
All right. So with those A levels, you go to university. How then do you get into law? As long as I've known you, you've always said you wanted to be a lawyer.
Do you know what? Yeah.
Why law? Is it because you were in trouble with the law, so you wanted to get?
I fought the law and I won. What's I gonna say? Now I play it. Do you know what? When I was in secondary school, obviously I'm quite a talkative dude, and you're always arguing. You should be a lawyer. So
my dad used to say that to me.
Do you know what I mean? But
my mum used to say, I think every Nigerian parent says that.
It's such a loose stretch of a link there. But ultimately that put that in my head, and I think at the same time I did actually like words, and I thought, okay, cool. Let me try and see what could be out there for me. And then, studying economics then took me to like the corporate law side of law, and I was at a diversity initiative, and a partner from a firm came and spoke, and he said he was talking about how English law was the preeminent law used in the world, typically in finance contracts, because it provides those lending with more assuredness that they'll get their money back. If in other jurisdictions like France, for example, the legal system favors the borrower of money more. And logically, just thinking about it, I mean, if I borrow £1 billion from you, Ogaga, and then, the court is sympathizing with me not paying you back, yeah? That's not cool. That provides no incentive for me to borrow you money if I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to recoup it, or whether the court will at least take the initial stance that, yeah, you borrowed money, you should be entitled to that money back. I'm not saying it's as clear cut as that, but so long story short, English law used internationally, providing international opportunities for English qualified lawyers. So that was the first pull in. I've been to China that summer, and I've said, yeah, international, I want me some of that. Yeah, I'll have some of that.
Okay, so then what do you you graduate, and then what, you apply for a training contract? What happens? Tell the people who want to do this and follow your path.
It's just like you're like my mum now. And there's one of my friends there's on this thinking of law. Tell them how you did it. No, in all seriousness. So basically, I think, talking about A levels and stuff and whatever, people probably hear my A levels in law now and be like, what? You got into a big law firm with those kind of grades? And I think, part of it was understanding yourself. They say 3 things: understand yourself, understand the industry, understand a law firm. Yeah. And, I understood that law firms are businesses. Yeah. And businesses have clients stroke customers. So when I came out of uni, I did an internship, or VAC scheme as they're known in law, and it didn't bang. Like, I loved the firm, but I didn't end up getting offered a trading contract there. But then I was fortunate, by the grace of God, I got given a internship at an investment bank in their legal team, legal and compliance team, and it wasn't meant to convert into a full-time job, but it did. And then I just really spun that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I really said, hey, I'm working for a client, baby. So, I understand what makes you guys tick. You need to hire me. And now I'm being silly. I'll be serious. But the point is, I looked at myself. I said, okay, you're less strong in the academic space. So try and use other things to compensate for that. Because ultimately, with academics and all of these things, they're important. Yeah, and I'm not going to say that it wasn't frustrating for me, because some people will straight up, I'm sure they straight up just never read my application before rejecting me once they saw grades. But, there will, I think for somebody who is willing to persevere, there will always be a route in. And it's about understanding how you can, looking at yourself objectively as a package and saying, if I tweak that, could that potentially compensate for academics? Or if my academics are super strong, but I don't know, I don't have many extracurricular activities, what are the things I can now do to make myself look like more of a package? Because ultimately, even though these people approach this kind of very methodically in terms of graduate recruiters, because obviously they're reading through loads of applications, but at the same time, if there's something about you that sticks out and is unique, naturally, it's not an exact science, they're going to look into that more. Then it's up to you to make sure the rest of your application is fleeky. It's about like putting yourself out there. You really have to put yourself out there. When I went to uni, I, did loads of different bits of work experience and stuff. Because, people are first year, you are turning up, you're all looking handsome. I was a chubby kid in the library, yeah. And I was applying for these open days and stuff. And, the thing is, what is good about getting involved in that process early on, obviously this may not be helpful for people who are a little bit further along the line, but it allows you to make mistakes without anybody watching you and assessing you, yeah? And that's what enabled me to find out that law was something that could work for me. And one of the things I found out in kind of relation to Naomi's question is that when graduate recruiters were talking, they were saying, hey, we don't just want a 2-1, we want quote-unquote good 2-1s. And their perception of a good 2-1 was 65 in and above in pretty much most of your modules, Okay. And in my first year, I did not get that. I got like 61.1, and the grades were all over the place. Some were 80s, some were looking real shady. Some we want to forget like Ogaga, yeah. But what was I gonna say? Now I'm playing. But so then when I was going into my second and my third year, it made me realize, spend that time in the library and try and push that potential, because that's what I found, like in other industries people care less. So all those people that were in other industries that maybe have been offered a job or kind of had an internship for the summer, once they got that 2-1, they're like, all I need is a 2-1, and they put their foot off the gas and they were out clubbing, and there's nothing wrong with that, But for me, I knew that my objective was different, to get into, especially looking at my situation, as in I didn't have the perfect A-level grades, so I just had to cater to that and say that, okay, well, from now on, things are going to be different.
Yeah. No, there's always a way. There's always a way. One of my best friends has a training contract with a very good law firm. She did not go to a Russell Group, a top 10, a Red Brick at all. Yes, you do. Yeah.
And she came to one of my events as well. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Shouts out to you. You know who you are.
And,
You better be listening.
So, and she's the inspiration because nobody would suspect the university that she'd gone to in relation to where she's...
Snobbery again. No.
I'm telling you.
Where's the bell? Ding, 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 ding.
You guys know what I mean.
Actually, I never expired it. But I've got a black man blood in me. I'm playing. I should just stop talking rubbish.
You know what I mean.
I'm just playing. I'm teasing.
Law, banking, they all expect you to have.
Yeah,
to
they are snobs.
A certain university, and you can defy that massively, and people have done it. And I work with a couple of people who have been able to do that. It is possible.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? I shouldn't even say a couple of people, like a group of people who've been able to do, like, it's very, very possible. So, you just have to navigate. You might not get in the traditional way, like Seun.
Yeah.
But you will get in somehow.
And I was just going to say as well, for me, like, to be honest, I wouldn't have sat around for ages, like, trying to do these law applications. I would have given it 2-3 years of my best effort and really tried to go back to the drawing board each time and see if I could perfect my applications and myself as an applicant that much more each time. But, you know, what I was conscious of and what I want to try and stay conscious of in life is that sometimes we can get so bogged down in the detail, right? You know, we want to head somewhere in life and we have an objective. There are many paths that lead to Rome. And, you know, I want to be a lawyer. Why? Because it's a secure career. There's specific industries like the energy sector that interest me. And there's scope to get involved with what's going on in different jurisdictions in the world. But there are also other industries that provide that. I'm not saying you should ever give up your plan A, but, you know, it's about understanding that if you're going to be a success, nobody can dictate whether you're going to be a success or not. So 100%. there are different, like Naomi just said, there are different routes of making it happen. The paralegal route, sometimes they sell people a dream through that route, but it's one way of going at it, you know, going and working for a bank for a bit and raising your profile. That's another route. You know, there are many different things that can be done that will hopefully enable us to get to where it is we want to get to in life. I always just think that, you know, there's some times, like, let's say I wanted to go to Bromley and I knew the 208 was coming in 2 minutes and I ducked out of my house, you know, no cocoa butter on.
Our American followers are going to love this episode.
No cocoa butter. I don't know whether y'all know about cocoa butter, but no cocoa butter on my elbows, and dashed out the house, and I've missed the bus. And sometimes in life, we can become so fixated on the fact that we missed the bus that we forget that you can still get to Bromley if you cross the road and take the 336, you know?
Wow. So, come on, see wisdom.
Y'all welcome. Wisdom. Y'all welcome. You are welcome. It's what I do.
I was like, oh, where's he going with this? Where's he going with this? And then you hear it. Well done.
Yeah, that was quite good.
I'll take that. Nudge me.
So for people who aren't able to get in the traditional route, what would you say are 3 steps that they should take in order to get into a Magic Circle law firm?
Firstly, I'll say with a Magic Circle firm, why do you want to join a Magic Circle firm? I mean, I'm blessed and grateful that I ended up being able to join a Magic Circle firm, but it's not the be all and end all, man. And there's so many different routes of making things happen. You can end up joining a Magic Circle law firm on qualification. But in terms of, steps, I would say it's about knowing it's those 3 steps. Know yourself. So am I strong academically? Do I have a sufficient work experience? Are there extracurricular activities I do that are noteworthy that will make my application stand out in a pile of applications that have been read on a late Tuesday evening? You know, the industry. You know, where is the industry heading? Are law firms streamlining the way they do business? Are they using more technology? And how can I potentially contribute to that? If, you know, in terms of knowing the firm, that goes back to the Magic Circle thing or the Silver Circle thing or the American firm thing. It's, okay, it's a Magic Circle firm. Why are they calling it a Magic Circle firm? Are there certain nuances that mean that if I was at a Magic Circle firm, I'd be expected to do this type of work, or I'd be working with these types of clients? And it's really those things. I think once you nail down those things, everything else will follow. It's really just about getting to grips with kind of where you stand in relation to the legal industry and the firm that you're hoping to get a trading contract from or a job from. Wonderful,
beautiful. We've heard the story. It's been words of wisdom throughout. I think that's it for the Chaser. We've definitely learned a lot. Thank you, Seun, for sharing your story, because sometimes it's not easy.
Baba God, no.
And you hopefully have helped somebody out. I
hope so, yeah.
I really hope someone's been helped out by this episode. So let us go on to For the Culture. Okay, so for the culture this week, I've been reading Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama. Really good book.
And his ghostwriters.
Now, this is before he was a politician, so I think he actually wrote this.
I've clocked about Ogaga, though. He's a conspiracy theorist. Mad up there in the clouds. You are a Shaolin monk in a former life, innit? Mad, man.
No. I mean, I don't think anyone writes their own books.
So if you wanted to write a book now, who would write your book?
If I wrote my own book, I would tell everyone I killed cancer. So please don't give me that kind of responsibility.
Firstly, I'm going to say, just to dispel, like I really like the book as well, Naomi, but just to dispel the rumor mongers amongst us, from that line of talk. Barack Obama studied English at uni, right?
I'm not saying he can't write. I'm just saying
he was like the head of the Harvard Law Review. He's got a history of writing and being essentially just a great Nobel laureate.
I'm not saying that he's not capable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
you don't
for efficiency.
You may be right.
He dictates the theme or
have you read it?
A lot of it.
Maybe
no, I haven't read it.
Maybe
I don't read
book
books.
that he's about to produce, but this book, he wrote.
Okay.
I definitely believe he wrote that book.
I definitely believe he wrote
because
it.
the thing about the book is not PC as well. He talks. I don't know whether you've been. I don't know if you've read it all yet, Naomi. But there's a bit in it where he talks about he realized that he could never be with a white woman. This book was not written as a kind of manifesto to becoming the president of the United States of America.
Very black nationalism. But sometimes I feel like he uses characters to explain or to convey his own black nationalism, so he doesn't have to say it from his own lips. Because he
never thought of that.
Because he almost knows that he's going to go into a career in politics.
But he was probably a senator then anyway, because he was a senator for the state of Illinois. And then
not when he wrote this book.
I think he was for 8 years.
I think that was the next book.
Oh, okay.
That was like the audacity of
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So my thoughts are that it's a beautiful description of like how all of us, whatever color you are really going through that process of finding out who you are. And I think what makes it more poignant coming from Barack Obama's perspective is that, he was a mixed race dude, raised by his white mum and grandparents, having, this big figure in his life that he only ever met twice, being his dad from Kenya, who went to Harvard and kind of, in some ways, set some really high standards for him, But all of this whilst he was in Hawaii, then living somewhere in the South, like Kentucky or something for a little bit.
Yeah, so speaking from purely a literature point of view, it's really descriptive. I think a little bit too descriptive at points. Like it could just literally get to the story, to the account. But that's just me. Like sometimes I just need events to happen. I don't need I don't need, the full explanation or description of how it happened, what you were wearing, what it smelled like. Like just give me what happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me personally. But it's obvious that he recounts his life in a way that is personal or anecdotal to his experiences. They're not really huge, impactful things that happen in the book. The only thing that I could think of that was really deep was him meeting his father for the first time.
Yeah.
Him meeting his sister for the first time. His father dying.
Yeah.
But going to Kenya.
Yeah, no, 100%. But he does have points in it. I think I would firstly agree, remembering back now, he's an English student. The way he wrote that book was so unnecessarily convoluted in some points whereby, like you say, the scent of the crisp morning dew is mate, just tell me about your life. That's not entirely relevant. So that, and I think I would agree that there aren't super lows. But I do feel because for me, I really like autobiographies. I like reading autobiographies, and I don't like reading autobiographies whereby individuals are everything was well and everything's just smooth sailing the whole time. And I don't feel like I agree with you in the sense I don't feel like there was a big crescendo oh man, will Barack ever make it to tomorrow? But at the same time, he talks about himself being very lost, when he came out of uni and not being sure, grappling with corporate world and being a weed head for quite a bit of time in his life. So far as I can see, kind of, you're human, that's accessible to me. That's something that I can feel and I can get.
Yeah.
You know, even him just talking about kind of being lazy and having no direction, and his grandparents really getting onto him about that.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I agree with you 100%. But you know, the reality is not all of us are gonna have like crazy. I mean, your dad dying is sad, yeah, but we're not gonna have like the craziest sad like out there Malcolm X kind of go from like a juvenile kind of criminal to head of the Nation of Islam. Like, not everyone's gonna have that story.
Yeah.
So I still think it was cathartic. How cathartic?
Yeah.
To hear him recount his life story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, and you definitely get a feel for what he was like as a person, what he is like. So him being able to go from Indonesia to Hawaii to you know, all those places, Chicago, Los Angeles, like he was able to meet people and really relate to them on a spiritual level, even. And so you can understand how he got as far as he did, and what also he took from his father. Like, so you know, his father was able to get on well with people. And he was very smart, also went to Harvard. So it gives you a very big insight into his life and how,
what drives him.
What drives him and the qualities that made him into the president of the United States.
He is.
But something that I wanted to touch on that really, like, for me is like deep. Like, he obviously grew up in Hawaii and Indonesia and was almost like colorless for a while, right? Until he realized, oh wait, I'm a black man, right, in Hawaii, and there's not many black people here. And he almost learned his blackness when he moved to Los Angeles, and when he and then Chicago, and New York and what have you. So that's where he learned his blackness. Now I started thinking, I was like, oh, perhaps I learned what it was to be Nigerian when I got to secondary school. And I think I actually did, because I haven't really had the authentic Nigerian upbringing. I'm obviously half Nigerian. And so I was like, do I have identity issues? I probably don't have identity issues as much as Barack Obama. But it's just interesting how sometimes what you think... So what you think is blackness, you know, it wasn't his idea of blackness. What I think of being as a Nigerian person, I am Nigerian. It's probably not other people's idea of what it's like to be Nigerian, but it just got me thinking, really, like, identity is such a fluid
100%.
topic, and it can't really be defined in in such a way. So yeah, it just got me thinking, like, I only know the authentic, like the stereotypical Nigerian experience from my friends. I can't relate to it from a level of being at home.
No, I think 100%. I think with identity, a part of, you know, I feel like identity on one level, and that's what I find to be beautiful about the book, is that, you know, it's always evolving. And, you know, if you ever want to kind of nail it down as one thing, there'll always be people and experiences that will challenge what you deem to be a nailed-on fact in your life, you know? So I think the beauty of it is becoming at peace with that, and also understanding that, you know, that it's just not that simple. And I think in life, generally, people just find it easier to label things. As human beings, we're lazy. We stereotype people. We generalize, you know, we categorize things, and we say this is that and this is that. And those things are meant to be stagnant and stay the way they are. But actually in life, that's not the case at all. And it's only because we can't be bothered to look into how things have changed and how our preference in music has changed, or just even simple little things like that. You say you like hip hop, but you don't like the music you liked 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Type of thing, because you're experiencing new and different things. So I think 100%, I think it's just finding the comfort within that to find some things that you do truly believe in, and then accept that the rest is all up for debate. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think we'll ever come to a conclusion on identity thing, and nor should we, because it's something that changes, as you said, and isn't very definitive. So I don't have anything more to add other than I'm going to explore more on what it is to be. Well, actually, no, I think now I know what it is to be a Nigerian for me. But before, I was a bit like, like, I almost felt like I I had a pretense and I was like playing into a stereotype for other people as a Nigerian, but really like for me, it's not what it is for a lot of other people. So I'm just gonna.
And it shouldn't be. I think in Nigeria, in a population of 250 million people, is different for 250 million people. Yeah. So it's completely understandable.
Yeah. Okay. On that note.
Indeed.
I think it's time to wrap it up. It's kind of getting late.
And that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Also, make sure you use the hashtag 20somethingpod on Twitter to get involved with the conversation. And don't forget to join our mailing list for exclusive content.